Hazlitt, Okemos, Meridian Township, Home TV.
Hello and welcome to this week's News Now Update. I'm Miguel Martinez-Valle. Thank you so much for joining us. After many roadblocks along the way, the construction of a new fire station in Meridian Township is finally moving forward. The Township Board unanimously approved the final bids for the new central fire station at their March 3rd meeting. Clerk Brett Dreyfus credits the hiring of a professional construction management firm, the Wheelan Daveco Corporation, for the bids coming in under budget. The last round of bidding that took place came in way over budget.
We're going to wind up fitting within the parameters that the millage required, and I think we're all very pleased that we're able to pass that, authorize that bid to go forward. I think everybody feels a little sigh of relief on that.
The next step will be breaking ground on the construction of the station at the corner of Okemos Road and Central Park Drive. Township Manager Frank Walsh expects ground to break later this month, depending on the weather. And periodically throughout the year, Meridian Township receives revenue sharing from the state of Michigan. The money comes from the local community's portion of the sales tax and is used for Meridian Township's daily operations. Every year for about the last 10 years, the township was seeing a decrease in their revenue sharing, but this year, Meridian Township has received an increase of almost $37,000 in revenue sharing. $17,000 of that increase was in the EVIP sharing. We spoke with Meridian Township's treasurer, Julie Brixey, and she told us what she thinks the increase means for Meridian Township.
So that's great. I think that's an indicator that the economy is really improving, and hope to continue to see more revenue sharing coming from the state of Michigan.
How much money the township receives in revenue sharing is determined by a series of formulas that are within the state's constitution. Meridian Township's board is looking for new legal services, and the application process is underway. The four-member committee of Clerk Dreyfus, Trustee Scales, Supervisor Legoff, and Manager Walsh will oversee the process for the entire board. The deadline for applications is March 31st, and the township believes the interest is very high. According to Township Manager Frank Walsh, the board will have applications in the double digits.
And those applications will go to the committee. The committee's been charged with narrowing that field down to 3 and then turning those names over to the full board. And those names will be turned over on approximately April 21st.
The application process will be completed in early April after interviewers are set up with the final 3 applicants. If everything goes according to plan, the township should have a new legal advisor by the middle of May. Next week, there will be many public hearings held by various township boards and commissions. Monday, March 9th, the Planning Commission will hold 2 hearings regarding rezoning requests at 7 p.m. Tuesday, the Director of Community Planning and Development invites the public for a hearing on a requested amendment to a special use permit at 3 p.m., followed by a Park Commission public hearing on the 2015 proposed grant applications, which include 4 possible projects at 7 p.m. Wednesday, March 11th at 6:30, the Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing, and finally, the Director of Community Planning and Development will hold a public hearing on Thursday at 3 p.m. regarding an addition to the Whole Foods currently being built. All of the previously stated hearings will be held in the Town Hall room, and interested residents are encouraged to attend. More information about the hearings can be found on the Township website. The Local Officials Compensation Commission of Meridian Township held a public hearing on Monday, March 2nd to settle the salaries of elected officials. A majority voted on the 1% pay increase of Meridian Township elected officials for the 2015-2016 fiscal year. With no public present and no objection from any commissioners, the pay raise was approved 3-0.
We approved approximately 1% pay increase for treasurer, supervisor, clerk, and trustees, and a $5 per meeting increase for the parks commissioners.
Most elected positions haven't received a pay raise in the past 5 years. Among the elected officials present was Township Treasurer Julie Brixey, The Township Board will make a determination at their next meeting. Meridian Township has recently hired a new Assistant Township Manager, Director of Public Works. At the March 3rd Township Board meeting, the new Assistant Township Manager Derek Perry was introduced. He'll begin to work with Manager Frank Walsh March 16th to help oversee the township operations, specifically focusing on public works and utilities operations.
I think it's a great place to live, work, and play, and I just hope I can bring some great contributions to the township.
Perry said he's excited to be working with the great team here in the township and getting the opportunity to meet all of the residents. When we come back, the popularity of an online shopping brings a potential threat. Find out how to make anonymous transactions a little safer. Also, we take an in-depth look at local author who recently released his first book. You're watching News Now Update on Home TV.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it.
While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed our own.
Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
Do you feel stuck at home this winter season? Luckily for you, Meridian Township offers many great activities for you and the family. From the Winter Farmers Market at Meridian Mall, Moonlight Ski and Shoot at Harris Nature Center, to the second annual Snowman Snow Sculpture Contest. There's no need to stay inside and dread this winter season. For more information, contact the Meridian Township Parks and Recreation Department.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Welcome back. What was meant to highlight an annual celebration quickly turned into public outrage over a picture featured in Monday's edition of the State News. The article was supposed to cover an annual step show celebrating West African traditions and culture, but the image featured was by the State News showed a black male with both middle fingers in the air. The community members were frustrated that the picture was published to present this event, and participants such as Tyler Clifford felt that it shed a negative light on an otherwise positive experience.
So no, that was very unrepresentative of the event, as well as I can assure you, almost everybody who went to the actual step show, nobody remembers him throwing up those middle fingers. People remember that people are out there stepping and doing their different moves and things like that, but that was not represented in that picture.
Members of the black community on campus carried hundreds of copies of Monday's paper into the State News newsroom as a sign of protest and demanded a better apology than the one previously issued on Twitter. The State News has since published multiple articles regarding the picture and issued an official apology from both the editor-in-chief and the photo editor. Another issue those who participated felt strongly about was that the article focused on the fraternity step show winners of the night and almost entirely overlooked the sorority participants. This incident gave way to a greater discussion regarding the representation of minorities both in the State News and in all media. With St. Patrick's Day and March Madness right around the corner, local police departments are stepping up enforcement and cracking down on drunk driving. If you're taking part in the festivities and plan on consuming alcohol, you should always have a designated driver or call a cab or Uber to get you home. You should never get behind the wheel of a car while intoxicated. Because of the growing popularity of online shopping and sites like Craigslist quickly becoming the new garage sale, Meridian Township Police are opening their doors to ensure safer transactions. Residents can use police facilities as a place to meet up and complete online business. There is no need to call ahead. Township Police say their doors are open. The police and Craigslist offer safety tips, including not inviting strangers into your home, be careful selling or buying high-value items, and insist on a public meeting space, and always trust your instincts. Local author John Kingston released his first book, titled The Portrait of the Gods, on January 15th, 2015. Home TV's Camille McCombs spent some time with the writer to find out what it's like to release a novel.
Have you ever thought about what it takes for an author to turn something like this into an actual published book? I spoke with new author John Kingston, and he told me what it takes to actually write a book. For Kingston, the journey from start to finish was not an easy one.
So the hardest part, I mean, it almost seemed like the book, and I thought that was difficult, but the process afterwards was even more difficult. I had over 60 rejections at one point, and so it's a little disheartening when you get that, but I stuck it out.
The fiction novel revolves around main character Brian Wakefield, who has the extraordinary ability to recall specific events from his past. Unfortunately, this ability leaves Brian dwelling between the past and present.
One day on the way to work, he gets stopped, and he's issued a traffic ticket by a police officer, and this traffic stop causes him to miss his exit for work. But instead of getting off at the next exit, he just keeps driving. And this sets in motion events that will cause him to strip away his desensitization and seek meaningfulness in his life.
While still working a job that requires 12-hour days, Kingston shares how he still finds time to pursue his passion for writing.
Early in the morning, right after I walk the dogs, I still have about an hour and a half left, and that for me is, the house is quiet. I make coffee, I sit there just with a little stove light on, and that's my moment to write.
Kingston has one main goal that motivates him as a writer.
I'm not motivated to write something that I think everybody wants to read and enjoy and everybody should read and get a sense of adventure out of. If it happens, that's great, but it's more important for me to write the truth, is how I feel it. I think that should be the motivation of any writer.
So far, The Portraits of Gods has received positive reviews. One in particular described exactly what Kingston was hoping to convey.
Yeah, very satisfying. I think when you're an artist or a writer, you do the best that you can to find the words to describe what it is that you're thinking or feeling. Sometimes you pull it off and sometimes you don't. But just to have one person that gets that, I think that's the point of trying to seek expression. And I'm happy that I did that.
In Meridian Township, Camille McCombs, Home TV.
The Portrait of Gods is currently available through Amazon, Schuler Books, and Barnes & Noble. Under contract, Kingston now has 2 years to release his next book. The Hazlitt Robotics Club made a record-setting achievement in the Michigan VEX State Championships held at Michigan State University. 2 of the club teams fought in the finals, with one coming out on top and receiving the Excellence Award in the tournament. Both teams are now headed to the World Championships held in the spring. The Hazlitt VEX Raptors have taken part in the World VEX Robotics Championship since they were established 5 years ago. They have received the Excellence Award from both the 2014 World Championship and the 2015 State Championship games. The coach said a lot of factors contributed to the team's achievement.
They have great help. We have one of our coaches is Kim Schramm, and she's a retired General Motors engineer, and she trained them how to do the engineering design process.
The goal isn't just to teach them about robotics. Kim Schramm believes this activity helps the students with their futures as well.
Well, we teach things like goal setting and doing mid-year reviews and tracking your progress towards goals. A lot of things. Team building is a great one. Networking.
Hannah Kemple, the only girl on the team, has been with the Raptors since 7th grade. She said robotics has truly shaped her life.
I met a lot of friends that I wouldn't have met otherwise, and I gained life skills that I would never have gotten.
The Raptors, together with the Vex Dragons, the other team of the Hazlitt Robotics Club, will join the 2015 World Championship on April 14th to the 18th in Louisville, where they will compete with more than 800 teams from 25 different countries. We wish both of these talented local teams the best of luck at the World Championships. And still ahead, we explain what's in store for the special month of March as reading and women's history is celebrated. You're watching News Now Update right here on Home TV.
If I got to go to college, oh my goodness. I like discovering new things. You get to see what works for you and what doesn't. That helps you evolve as a person. And you get to make like a supernova of skill or talent or whatever it is. I've always wanted to go to college. I just feel like that's my destiny. My name is Queen, and I am your dividend.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Did you know that flushing or throwing away expired medication can negatively impact the environment? Prescription drugs that are improperly disposed of can seep into the water supply and contaminate landfills. Luckily, you can conveniently dispose of your expired medications right here in Meridian Township. You can help keep our land and our Great Lakes safe. Stop by the drop box at the police department to safely discard your expired prescription drugs. For more information, visit takebackmeds.org.
Wayne B.A. of the MSU School of Planning, Design, and Construction presented his sustainability assessment of Meridian Township to the Township Board on Tuesday. According to B.A., Meridian Township falls in the middle range of sustainable communities with a score of 217 out of 288, which means it's making good progress. The project, which is part of the Mid-Michigan Program for Greater Sustainability, offered suggestions for the township to improve livability, governance, environment, community, and the economy. A major issue discussed was the possibility of adding more street trees to the township. Street trees, which are between the sidewalk and the road, could help make the township more enjoyable to walk or bike. Meridian Township has asked Ingham County for more street trees on areas such as the Grand River Corridor and downtown Hazlitt, but has not been successful.
What I find personally is that if there are street trees between the sidewalk and the street, it is just infinitely more comfortable to walk or to ride a bike.
For pedestrian safety and comfort, this is a key component. So I think it just requires a continued dialogue on how it's being done elsewhere in Michigan.
The Township Board expressed interest in implementing BA suggestions and having the necessary dialogue to improve the community. The Environmental Commission held a meeting last night and heard a presentation by Harmony Mazel called Wrapping Up the Mid-Michigan Program for Greater Sustainability. The program was the result of a federal grant from the Department of Housing and Urban Development and covers topics such as housing transportation and other sustainability-related issues.
Well, we heard an update on the sustainability work that's been going on in the township and in the greater region, and it's very interesting to see that project coming to the end of its planning phase and moving forward with implementation.
Also discussed at the meeting was the upcoming Township Recycling event on April 25th as well as updates involving energy-related projects such as the community solar and updates with our parks. More than 200 of the area's caregivers are going to receive a much-needed break this coming week. NextCare Health Systems and Alzheimer's Association are sponsoring the 8th Annual Caregiver Retreat. On March 12th, the heroes on the home front when it comes to giving care will get a day to spend just on themselves. The event will be held at the Causeway Hotel in Lansing and provides a much-needed break to caregivers who can become overworked and overwhelmed by the stress of caring for another person.
I have caregivers that come up to me and will cry because they've never had such a great day. Very relaxing, very rewarding. So that's what makes me feel good. And everyone that's involved, all of our sponsors, that's what the day's about.
The event also will feature keynote speakers who aim to help provide resources and knowledge to help caregivers provide the best care possible. Breakfast and a sit-down lunch are also available at this event, as well as booths that show off ways to improve home life in terms of remodeling and providing resources for those being cared for. Caregivers can even get a massage or a manicure to help them feel pampered. The Michigan Women's Historical Center and Hall of Fame is hosting multiple events this month in honor of Women's History Month. On March 12th, the Weaving the Stories of Women's Lives event will be held from 5 to 7, with tickets costing $20. On March 19th, there will be an opening reception celebrating women veterans. There will also be a book signing by author Patricia Major for her book, Great Girls in Michigan History. This will take place on Saturday, March 28th. For more information on Women's History Month or the events, visit MichiganWomen'sHallOfFame.org. Not only is March considered Women's History Month, it's also Reading Month. And in honor of the special month, we pay tribute to an author who is also celebrated in March. What a great way for the Reading Month to start, with the birthday of Seuss, who is close to our heart. The doctor who taught us that eggs can be green and that even a Grinch can be nice and not mean. The month of March is devoted to reading, important for those intent on succeeding. So pick up a book, no matter what kind, a red book, a blue book, don't leave them behind. And as for the doctor, he isn't done yet. A new Seuss book was found called What Pet Should I Get? The release date is far, so what should you do? Just grab a good book, or maybe a few. And that wraps it up for this week's News Now Update. Remember, we're always online, so like us on Facebook and stay up to date with Township News. We're on Twitter as well. Follow us there. And of course, HomeTV.net. I'm Miguel Martinez-Valle. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.